It can be social media clips. It can be coach speak. It can be half-assed opinions being spewed all over YouTube. But one thing is for certain, it's going to cause players to skyrocket up draft boards. But the real question is, should we believe the hype?
We have liftoff.
What is going on, Headliner Nation? Hopefully everyone's doing well out there. Today we're going to be talking about 5 players who are currently skyrocketing up draft boards here early in the offseason, but we got to be careful not to buy too much of the hype. Instead, you could buy yourself a 2024 fantasy football draft guide. I can see it right here through the screen. You want to absolutely dominate this year. Well, head over to tfhdraftguide.com, get yourself the best draft guide in the industry. It's already live, there's already content there. We're going to continue to add to it and update it from now up until week 1 of the NFL season. It's not the only way you can get one, though. You can also sign up for a new account over on Underdog Fantasy using the referral code Headliners. When you do that, make your initial minimum deposit, you're going to get a free 2024 fantasy football draft guide. You're going to get a special pick added to your account, plus a first-time deposit bonus of up to $250 in bonus cash. Or you could hit the like button on this video, because as soon as this video gets 800 likes, I'm going to pick a random commenter from down below and just give them a free draft guide as well. So plenty of options, but hit the like button, leave those comments below, and the first player that is skyrocketing up draft boards is Isaiah Pacheco of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I really believe the reason he's climbing so much here early in the offseason is there's been a lot of questions surrounding the entire Chiefs offense for months. A lot of it with what's going to happen with Rashee Rice. Is he going to be suspended? For how many games? What about Travis Kelce? Is he old? Is he washed? How involved is Xavier Worthy going to be right out of the gate? Rashee Rice himself wasn't overly involved to start last season. What about Hollywood Brown? Can he be a true number 1 wide receiver in this offense if needed? I really just think that a lot of people are pivoting away from all the questions and going for the one known in this offense, Isaiah Pacheco. Because last year was a career year. He finished 2023 as the running back 16 overall, had just under 1,200 total yards and 9 total touchdowns while missing 3 games. He also had career highs in rush attempts, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, targets, receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. He was also a pivotal piece in the Chiefs' playoff run where he had 24 total touches in 3 of their 4 playoff games. Now, we have no Jerick McKinnon. Behind him on the depth chart is CEH. And I think we can see over the last couple of years, we don't have to worry very much about CEH. Plus, Pacheco was at the damn Super Bowl parade carrying around a goat. What else do you need? Because he's really the one part of the Chiefs offense that we can look at right now and kind of know what to expect. This overall Chiefs offense is going to be better in 2023, and that's going to open the doors for more touchdowns going the way of the running game. Now, he's climbed all the way up to running back 10 overall right now in the consensus rankings. That means he's going to have to score right around 214 fantasy points, the equivalent to 1,350 total yards, 10 touchdowns with 40 receptions. That right there kind of screams to me the high end of his ceiling. So if he rises any more in the ranks, he may be a little bit too expensive. We really need to try to not draft players at their ceiling. That's really one of the biggest fantasy football rules that a lot of people need to follow. All right, how about Derrick Henry? And it almost happens every single year. People will start the offseason by saying Derrick Henry is old, he's washed, but as the offseason progresses, people start to get a little bit smarter and start to ignore all the YouTube hot takes. Derrick Henry has had over 1,000 total yards and double-digit touchdowns in 6 straight seasons, and that's on a bad offensive team the last couple of years in Tennessee. I really think the biggest reason for the climb up the rankings, though, here as of late, is people are starting to realize there is no one else on this depth chart that's going to take away any early down work from the king. Even though we have been saying it for months, people are just now starting to realize that Keaton Mitchell, the firecracker in the backfield from last season, he's not going to be ready the start of 2024. You got to remember, he was injured in week 15 of last season. He may not be 100% ready till October or November this year. But heck, by that time, King Henry has been toting the rock a ton. unless you're super worried about Justice Hill being better than Derrick Henry. And if that's the case, maybe fantasy football isn't for you. The Ravens are a team that run almost more than any other team each and every year. They have a solid offensive line. Baltimore wants to keep Lamar Jackson healthy. It's causing Derrick Henry to climb up the rankings quickly. He's already up to running back 9 and could go as high as running back 7 here pretty soon. At running back 9, he would need 215 fantasy points, the equivalent to 1,300 total yards and 12 touchdowns with 25 receptions. Still, not out of the realm of possibilities from what we've seen from the King so far here in his career. All right. I need to do a little test. I want to see who's focused, who is locked in right now. If you are, throw hashtag still the King down below in the comment section. I want to see who's paying attention. But all right, next guy up is Drake London of the Atlanta Falcons. And people are so damn excited to see Drake London with an actual quarterback and a better head coach. Jake, I am one of those people, but with the highlights of Kirk Cousins out there throwing darts to Drake London, it is causing the climb to happen quickly. Drake London is now the current wide receiver 13 overall, being drafted in the mid to late second round. He's going above the likes of Mike Evans, Derrick Henry, and even Michael Pittman as well. But we got to remember that this Atlanta offense also added some other pieces: Darnell Mooney, Rondell Moore. They still have the likes of Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier in the backfield as well. And Atlanta has one of the best offensive lines in all of the NFL. So you know they're going to want to run the football a lot. Now I am there for the Drake London breakout. I am ready for it. But the price is nearing too expensive. At wide receiver 13, he would need to be right around 204 fantasy points. That's equivalent to 80 catches for 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns. Now, I see that as a possibility for sure, but if he rises up the rankings any further, all of a sudden it's another player we're having to purchase at their ceiling, and that is absolutely terrifying. Keep an eye on Drake London. But how about a rookie wide receiver, Malik Nabers of the New York Giants? And this right here is a result of those wonderful OTA highlights. People will freak the F out over highlights of dudes in shorts. It happens every single year. Now, I love Malik Nabers. I even said during the draft, given the right situation, I would put him over Marvin Harrison Jr. But I don't look at him in New York and see that as some great landing spot. Now, sure, I'm on the record of saying that I am not a Daniel Jones truther, but it's not all his fault. That offensive line is bad, and it gives him no time whatsoever. But we're also staring at a quarterback who has a career high of 3,205 yards passing, hasn't thrown for over 20 touchdowns in a year since 2019, and not to mention, he's never played a full season. When you look at the run game, they've gone from Saquon Barkley down to Devin Singletary. Now, while I don't hate Devin Singletary, he's not Saquon Barkley, and they still have other guys that they can't figure out how to get the ball to consistently. Guys like Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Jalen Hyatt as well. But all because of those highlight reel catches in OTAs when everyone's wearing shorts and probably doesn't even have pads on. Now Malik Nabers is all the way up to wide receiver 25. That is a late 4th round pick as of right now. He's being drafted ahead of the likes of T. Higgins, Trey McBride, and George Pickens, and I don't know if I'm quite ready for that just yet. This is not a Malik Nabers talent issue. This is I'm a little bit worried that Daniel Jones can provide him the huge numbers if he continues to rise up draft boards. Which leaves us our last guy. It's Jameson Williams, wide receiver of the Detroit Lions. And there is one thing every offseason that is just as strong as those social media clips, and it is coach speak. And that right there is exactly why we're seeing this offseason spike in ADP for Jameson Williams. Now, Dan Campbell came out and said, quote, "If you said, give me one player that is the most improved this offseason, JMO would be that guy right now. He is a man on a mission, and I'm just going to leave it at that." And people are buying into every word of that. There are people out there right now in the consensus rankings that are boosting him from the 10th round up to the 6th round. And a lot of that has to do because the guy is a former first-round pick. He's dealt with injuries, suspensions, and everything in between. But he's averaging 1.4 receptions per game over the last 2 seasons, and he's not even the team's top option. He still has to contend with the likes of Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and Sam Laporta just for touches each and every week. I'm all for taking some of those high upside picks, but he is climbing way too fast for my liking. There is just too much unknown here with no clear path to huge weekly volume. Now, in a high-powered offense like there is in Detroit, is it possible? For sure. But why are we going to overpay for something we really haven't seen for years? I know we're heading into summer and a lot of people are desperate for some NFL news, but don't go scrolling through social media and falling in love with clips of guys playing in shorts. Like, yeah, it's great to see Drake London making some deep catches down the field, but some of them, there's no defense even involved. Just don't go out there and overhype things too early. Look at all the facts and then come to a great conclusion. So if you can keep a level head, you'll find some success here in fantasy football. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here for the day. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. But most importantly, please do your part to make the world a better place.
Analytics, off the chain, all the channels, not the same.